Hello and welcome to the August 10th, 2025 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we're putting money into this project of ours. We're live every Sunday, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replays on the Nick's News YouTube page. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like goodnewsnetwork.org and goodgoodgood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the Nick's Newsies. Hello, Becky. So, got a lot of fun stuff tonight. We've got a lot of great articles, but we're going to start off with the News Brew. And the News Brew for tonight is going to be an amazing one, I hope. Coocoo for Cacao. I have been craving chocolate. Good thing I picked up this can of Austin Brothers Beer Company's Coocoo for Cacao. This is a 15% ABV high-octane Imperial Stout, and it is brewed with, let's go down the list, cocoa nibs, chocolate breakfast cereal, chocolate bars, chocolate donuts, chocolate syrup, and vanilla. This is a chocolate extravaganza, and I am looking forward to it. We will be having it, given that it's an Imperial Stout. We are going to have it in our nice, limited edition Harpoon Snifter. We don't need the Balisong bottle opener because it's a can, so let's blow the gain on the audio. Oh, it's just chocolate. It's just pure chocolate. The theatrics of a 5-minute pour. It's not as thick as some of the high-octane stouts that we've had on Nick's News, but it should do the job. Good to the last drop. Every last drop. There we go. Oh. 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 This is going to be a good beer. Hey, Charlie. All right. Shoutouts. Did you know that I am part of a podcast team? Check out DAINIME, the Daikaiju And Anime Podcast. T and friends discuss, review, and reflect on giant monsters and Japanese animation. T is one of my friends who started and runs the podcast. He's a great guy. My friend Ryan's also a part of it. It's a fantastic team and just the great topics regarding kaiju and anime. If you love kaiju movies and anime, it is the podcast for you. Links are in the description. For DAINIME, cheers. Hey, Nico. Oh, that's some chocolate right there. That is everything that is made of chocolate in a beer. Holy crap. Wow. So, something that happened this week, again, our recording today is the 10th of August. Something that happened earlier this week was the passing of James Arthur Lovell Jr. Our hearts go out to NASA and to the family of James Arthur Lovell Jr., who passed away on August 7th. He was an American astronaut, a naval aviator, a test pilot, and a mechanical engineer. In 1968, as command module pilot of Apollo 8, James Arthur Lovell Jr., along with Frank Borman and William Anders, became one of the first 3 astronauts to fly to and orbit the moon. He then commanded the Apollo 13 lunar mission in 1970, which, after a critical failure en route, looped around the moon and returned safely to Earth. Many of us, our generation, will remember the movie Apollo 13, starring Tom Hanks as the role of James Arthur Lovell Jr. Amazing cast, an amazing depiction of the situation and the terror that was experienced by the astronauts and their ingenuity by themselves and everybody at NASA to get them home safely. An incredible story. So Godspeed to Commander Lovell. You may not have touched the moon, but you do rest amongst the stars. Nico and Becky commenting on my love of chocolate face. News quote. You do what you can for as long as you can. And when you finally can't, you do the next best thing. You back up, but you don't give up. Sticking with our astronaut theme, that was a quote from Brigadier General Charles Chuck Elwood Yeager, who lived from 1923 to 2020. He was a United States Air Force officer, a flying ace, and a record-setting test pilot who became the first pilot in history confirmed to exceed the speed of sound in level flight. And I really love that quote, because it's something that I've kind of held on to is, I don't try to back up. I try to stay at least, where I'm at and keep moving forward. And if something doesn't work, you find the next best thing that works. So this quote again, you do what you can for as long as you can. And when you finally can't, you do the next best thing. You back up, but you don't give up. Thank you very much, Chuck Yeager. Cheers. I'm going to enjoy this beer all night. There's going to be a lot of good faces from this beer. Nico says, very good advice. I do agree. Bug update. Elmira has completely obliterated the landscape of her vivarium. Somehow the spider plant is clinging on for dear life, but I doubt it is long for this world at this point. All of the moss has been buried under like an inch of dirt. I added some more greenery, but I saw her checking it out earlier, which means it's probably going to get uprooted and buried as well. I think the only reason the spider plant is held on this long is because it's just so big, it's hard for her to kill in one go. But she is otherwise absolutely destroying everything in her tank, and I love her. She is a little terror. Ripley is past their exploration phase and is now kind of settled in. They chill in a couple different spots where I see them on the regular. They're also out and about at night, so if you see something black scuttling on this piece of cork bark, that is going to be Ripley. Last but not least, Sue is as reclusive as ever. He is in his hide right now, I did check, so keep an eye out on this tank in the back for Sue to make his debut ever since he molted. He is much bigger. Hey, Nate. Made it. Best I could do tonight. Nate, I think that's fine. All right. Let's get into our good news. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice articles that we like to end on. And we've got some special ones tonight. So we're going to start off in category 1, science and technology. We've got one article in here, and we called it, You Can Teach an Old Rover New Tricks. I will copy and paste this to the chat if y'all want to read along. Marking 13 years on Mars, NASA's Curiosity picks up new skills. This was published by the Jet Propulsion Laboratories to their website, their NASA website, on August 4th of 2025. 13 years since Curiosity landed on Mars, engineers are finding ways to make the NASA rover even more productive. The 6-wheeled robot has been given more autonomy and the ability to multitask. Improvements designed to make the most of Curiosity's energy source, a multi-mission radioisotope thermoelectric generator, or an MMRTG. Increased efficiency means the rover has ample power as it continues to decipher how the ancient Martian climate changed, transforming a world of lakes and rivers into the chilly desert it is today. Curiosity recently rolled into a region filled with boxwork formations. These hardened ridges are believed to have been created by underground water billions of years ago. Stretching for miles on this part of Mount Sharp, a 3-mile tall or 5-kilometer tall for folks that haven't mastered landing on the moon, mountain, the formations might reveal whether microbial life could have survived in the Martian subsurface eons ago, extending the period of habitability farther into when the planet was drying out. Carrying out this detective work involves a lot of energy. Besides driving and extending a robotic arm to study rocks and cliffsides, Curiosity has a radio, cameras, and 10 science instruments that all need power. So do the multiple heaters that keep electronics, mechanical parts, and instruments operating at their best. Past missions like the Spirit and Opportunity rovers and the InSight lander relied on solar panels to recharge their batteries, but that technology always runs the risk of not receiving enough sunlight to provide power. Instead, Curiosity and its younger sibling Perseverance each use their MMRTG nuclear power source, which relies on decaying plutonium pellets to create energy and recharge the rover's batteries. That's right, this rover that's the size of a small SUV runs on plutonium. Providing ample power for the rover's many science instruments, MMRTGs are known for their longevity. The twin Voyager spacecraft have relied on RTGs since 1977, and we periodically talk about how far they are and how long they've been going. But as the plutonium decays over time, it takes longer to recharge Curiosity's batteries, leaving less energy for science each day. Producer Donna did have to throw in, "Your space program wouldn't exist without Canada." This is an accurate statement. We're not saying that we're not thankful for Canada helping us get NASA off the ground, but hey. The team carefully manages the rover's daily power budget, factoring in every device that draws on the batteries. While these components were all tested extensively before launch, they are part of a complex system that reveals their quirks only after years in the extreme Martian environment. Dust, radiation, and sharp temperature swings bring out edge cases that engineers couldn't have expected. "We were more like cautious parents earlier in the mission," said Radar Larson, a NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory gosh, I'm butchering this, I apologize. "We were more like cautious parents earlier in the mission," said Radar Larson of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California, who built and operates the rover. Larson led a group of engineers who developed the new capabilities. "It's as if our teenage rover is maturing, and we're trusting it to take on more responsibility. As a kid, you might do one thing at a time, but as you become an adult, you learn to multitask." Generally, JPL engineers send Curiosity a list of tasks to complete one by one before the rover's day ends, with a nap to recharge. In 2021, the team began studying whether 2 or 3 rover tasks could be safely combined, reducing the amount of time Curiosity is active. For example, Curiosity's radio regularly sends data and images to a passing orbiter, which relays them to Earth. Could the rover talk to an orbiter while driving, moving its robotic arm, or snapping images? Consolidating tasks could shorten each day's plan, requiring less time with heaters on and instruments in a ready-to-use state, reducing the energy used. Testing showed Curiosity safely could, and all of these have now been successfully demonstrated on Mars, so the rover is up and going with its multitasking. Becky says, "It's the chocolate beer that's getting to your head. It's okay." Another trick involves letting Curiosity decide to nap if it finishes its tasks early. Engineers always pad their estimates for how long a day's activity will take, just in case hiccups arise. Now, if Curiosity completes those activities ahead of the time allotted, it will go to sleep early. So basically it's complete all your tasks, get more sleep time. How very teenager of it. By letting the rover manage when it naps, there is less recharging to do before the next day's plans. Even actions that trim just 10 or 20 minutes from a single activity add up over the long haul, maximizing the life of the MMRTG for more science and exploration down the road. Producer Donna calls it the Scotty principle. The team has been implementing other new capabilities on Curiosity for years. Several mechanical issues required a rework of how the robotic arm's rock pulverizing drill collects samples, and driving capabilities have been enhanced with software updates. When a color filter wheel stopped turning on one of the two cameras mounted on mast cam, Curiosity's swiveling head, the team developed a workaround allowing them to capture the same beautiful panoramas. JPL also developed an algorithm to reduce wear on Curiosity's rock-battered wheels. And while engineers closely monitor any new damage, they aren't worried. After 22 miles, or 35 kilometers, and extensive research, it's clear that despite some punctures, the wheels have years' worth of travel in them. And in a worst-case scenario, Curiosity could remove the damaged part of the wheel's tread and still drive on the remaining part. So Curiosity is even capable of maintaining itself. That's wild. Together, these measures are doing their job to keep Curiosity as busy as ever. Curiosity was built by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is managed by Caltech in Pasadena, California. JPL leads the mission on behalf of NASA's Science Mission Directorate in Washington as part of NASA's Mars Exploration Program portfolio. Malin Space Science Systems in San Diego built and operates the Mastcam. For more information, you can visit Curiosity's website in the link provided in the article. To all of the engineers and to the Curiosity rover that they are managing for its continued use on the planet Mars after 13 years. Cheers. Producer Donna says, always overestimate how long it will take you to get credit for being a miracle worker. All right, that's going to take us out of science and technology. We're going to move on to category 2, health and medicine. And we called this, I Can See the Future. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. And by I mean I. Bye-bye bifocals. New eye drops can fix farsightedness. This was published to Popular Science on August 7th of 2025 by Andrew Paul. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved the first eye drop that could allow users to ditch their bifocals, or at least rely on them far less often. Developed by the pharmaceutical company Lens, their product Viz is an aceclidine ophthalmic. Oh, sorry. Here we go with the medical terms. Aceclidine ophthalmic treatment. Aceclidine ophthalmic treatment. I might have that first word wrong, but we're going to go with that. In the form of once daily drops that ease near object blurriness for up to 10 hours. But unlike similar eye drops that arrived in recent years, Viz appears to avoid annoying side effects and rare medical complications. Presbyopia is a common variant of farsightedness affecting over 128 million people in the U.S., including the majority of adults over the age of 45. It's often an inevitable consequence of time. Your eye's lenses naturally harden as you get older, making it increasingly difficult for the optical muscles to adjust between focal points. The usual solutions to the issue are either picking up a pair of reading glasses or swapping your daily lenses or contact lenses for bifocals. But in 2021, the FDA approved a breakthrough eye drop treatment called Vuity, which uses pilocarpine hydrochloride to stimulate the pupil to contract. This increases the depth of field and clears up otherwise blurry books, computer screens, and text messages. There are a couple trade-offs when using Vuity, however. Because of its effects on the ciliary muscle responsible for focusing, a user's sight may dim slightly while distant objects become blurry. Meanwhile, users sometimes reported side effects including brow heaviness. In rare cases, they cited vitreoretinal issues, or problems with the retina and vitreous fluid at the back of the eye. Viz doesn't present the same complications because it uses aceclidine instead of pilocarpine hydrochloride. Rather than significantly stimulating the ciliary muscle, Viz only affects the pupils while avoiding the other problems. The FDA's approval was announced after the results from 3 randomized, double-masked, controlled Phase 2 studies involving hundreds of volunteers. Participants didn't report any serious issues across the over 30,000 cumulative treatment days. Viz manufacturer aims to have the eye drops widely available through prescription by the 4th quarter of 2025. To the company Lens and their product Viz, an eye drop that could help alleviate the symptoms of farsightedness and is looking to hit shelves and prescriptions at the end of this year. Cheers. Producer Donna says, you all can thank me later for those literary landmines. I will not be thanking her. Becky says, I wish there were drops for astigmatism. I think we all do, Becky. That's going to get us out of health and medicine. We are going to jump into flora and fauna, where we have 2 amazing articles. Nate says, have you ever considered stating at the end of the show what beer is next Sundays? We can try it with you. Just a thought I had. So, Nate, we have an Instagram. Link is in the description of this video and across all of our media. On our Instagram, every Thursday, I post the news brew. And I post where I got it from. So if you want to go and grab one, it gives you a couple days to go and get it. And that post, usually those posts come out at noon on Thursdays before an upcoming episode. I'm not sure what the next one is. I know I have it prepared. I prepare them a whole month in advance. Like, I've got them all laid out. So, just keep an eye out. Keep an eye on our Instagram and watch for our Thursday posts for the upcoming news brew. I know, it's another thing of social media. So much social media. We're trying to take advantage of all of it, so we can keep getting this good news out there, because you've got to attack from every angle, to beat these algorithms. So, all right, we're going to get into flora and fauna, category 3, aka plants and animals. We've got 2 amazing articles in here. This first one is an obligatory cat article. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. This is adorable. Hang out and pet cats at new Holland area cat lounge. This was published to Wood TV 8 on... when was this published? July 31st of 2025 by Madeline Bursma. Cats are everywhere at a new business that just opened in the Holland area. Hiding behind the printer, in a box, lounging by the window. The cute kitties at Holland Cat Cove, located at 76 Lakewood Boulevard near Beeline Road in Holland, Michigan, are all adoptable through the Harbor Humane Society. There are adult cats which hang out in the main room, and kittens that play in a separate room. There were 2 kittens when News 8 stopped by that Thursday of that week that are already set to be adopted, but another litter will be coming after they leave. Since opening July 18th, the Cat Lounge has been average just under an adoption a day, with 8 cats finding homes already and 4 more adoptions pending. It's been a whirlwind. It's been busy, owner Jennifer Siegel said. This is my first time opening a business, so it's better than I could have imagined. Siegel lived in Chicago for the last 25 years. When her company was bought out and she found out she would be laid off, she decided to move back to West Michigan. Becky said, literally just down the street from me. Well, Becky, anytime you want to pet random cats and look at cats for adoption, there's a new place in town. I realized I really didn't want to stay in corporate anymore, so I started thinking through what I do want to do, she said. I don't really know how this suddenly came to mind, but I was like, I love cats. I feel passionate about their welfare. After landing on opening her business in Holland, which has students, retirees, and tourists, she reached out to the Harbor Humane Society to set up a partnership. Harbor Humane manages the adoptions, including collecting the fees and screening applicants. It's really a partnership in every sense of the word, which has been great, Siegel said. Anyone is welcome at the Cat Lounge, even if they aren't looking to adopt. It is primarily reservation-based. A 50-minute reservation is $13, with a discounted $10 rate for seniors, students, and military. You can also buy packaged food and drinks, all Michigan-based products, and some cat-themed gift items. Siegel said she's still figuring out what works and what doesn't, and may tweak some things after a few weeks, like changing hours so that the cats have a rest period during the day. She's also planning on hosting events, like music nights, yoga sessions, and trivia events. But her focus is on the cats. I think cats are somewhat misunderstood in a lot of ways, she said. There's so many strays out that I would just really like to continue finding them homes, and having a place like this I think allows people to find their true personality. That is wonderful. To Holland Cat Cove, run by Jennifer Siegel, a place where you can hang out with and potentially look to adopt a feline friend in Holland, Michigan. Cheers. Becky said, been there twice already. Cat yoga. That is awesome. Our next Flora and Fauna article is a heckin' good boy, because you always have to follow up an obligatory cat article with a heckin' good boy. I will copy and paste this into the chat if you all want to read along. Hero service dog senses owner's irregular heartbeat, saving the veteran from a catastrophic stroke. This was published at goodnewsnetwork.org on August 3rd of 2025 by Nathan Frederick. The Labrador usually lets Hank sleep late, but not on this particular day. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The service dog named Tommy had been with Hank Ford since he was a pup, and he knew his owner was at risk. He started nudging Hank with his nose, then pawing at him, and jumping on his body. Get up, get up, get up. Hank figured the dog needed to go outside a little earlier than normal. But when Hank stood up, he was lightheaded and woozy, starting to sense that something was wrong too. He opened the door to let the dog outside, but Tommy didn't budge. 54-year-old Hank kept feeling worse. He decided to check his vital signs with a blood pressure cuff and was startled by the results. His pulse was a staggering 171 beats per minute. Oh, who's in the middle tank? The middle tank is Ripley. Is Ripley out? I don't see them. There is a cricket in there that's moving around. Front left corner. Front left corner. Yeah, it could have been one of her crickets. I think that was one of Ripley's crickets, because I don't see her in there yet. She'll be obvious if she comes crawling out. Huh. Alright, back to the article. So, Hank's pulse when he checked it was a staggering 171 beats per minute. The military veteran who has served for more than 20 years called his local veterans hospital, but they thought his vital readings were obviously wrong and that he simply misused the machine. Hank and Tommy both knew better, so the resident of Fort Lutton, Colorado, drove himself to the hospital, and the diagnosis arrived a few minutes later. They were freaking out about it, Hank recalled, when doctors confirmed his vital signs. It was good that Tommy woke me up. Something about the way he woke me up. He hasn't done it before, and he hasn't done it since, Hank told Good News Network. Doctors said, more than likely, it would have been a stroke, and it would have been a big one. What he was experiencing is AFib, an irregular heartbeat characterized by a rapid rhythm. The upper chambers of the heart beat out of sync with the lower chambers, and the condition can lead to reduced blood flow and cause strokes, or even death. This recent event was not the only time Tommy helped save Hank's life. Years ago, Hank was in a self-described dark spot. He had spent decades of his selfless military service in high-stress situation, a hero in harm's way, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Bosnia, and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Then, when he left the military, he worked for years at a federal penitentiary, adding even more layers of stress. All those experiences and memories weren't easily forgotten. Hank had a significant case of PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. He didn't like dealing with people or going out in public. He slept a lot and stayed home, sheltering himself from the outside world. His doctors encouraged him to pursue a service dog, and when his hunting dogs, also Labradors, passed away, Hank reached out to the Wounded Warrior Project for a service dog. That organization helped connect him with Dogs Inc., which we have talked about on previous episodes of Nick's News, a nonprofit that provides guide dogs, service dogs, and therapy dogs free of charge to people in need. Not long afterward, Hank and Tommy were united, and the impact was immediate. "We bonded fast," Hank said. "I've had some good connections with dogs, but nothing like what we have." He would key the clues I was putting out really quickly. If you stress out, he will come out and look at you and put his chin on you and be like, "Hey, are you okay?" It was a calming presence, and it was really quick. I was ready to have a dog again, but wasn't expecting what I got. Hank received a new best friend and a new path forward. Life started looking a whole lot better, and when Hank's heart was on the verge of a potentially fatal malfunction and he was stabilized in the hospital, his wife brought the dog in to see him. Tommy crawled right up onto Hank's bed and laid across his body. The dog stayed there for hours, just inches away from the beating heart of the man he had helped to heal years ago. So perhaps it's no surprise that he was a crucial first responder and hero when Hank's heart spun wildly out of rhythm. "I knew dogs were man's best friend for a reason," Hank said. "He takes it above and beyond that." To service dog Tommy, who potentially saved the life of his owner Hank, a veteran, from a heart condition that could have caused a catastrophic stroke. Heckin' good boy. Cheers. Nate added, "Dogs bond their souls to ours. Unconditional love in real time." I remember growing up here in Michigan, and we had a black lab named Ahab, Captain Ahab, and I absolutely loved and adored that dog. Was really truly a member of our family. So yeah, someday I'll own a dog again, for sure. Okay, that's going to get us out of flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and we are going to move on to category 4, the wholesome notes. We have 2 articles and a special update to go over. So let's get into the articles first. We called this first one Building Hope, and this was sent in by Kendra. So Kendra, thank you very much for sending this one in. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Instead of a new jail, LA built a shipping container housing complex for homeless residents. This was published on January 28th of 2025 to goodgoodgood.co by Cameron Baker. And there was a typo. I've got to remember what the typo was. There it is, 232. For years, a vacant lot in downtown Los Angeles sat empty. It was once a parking lot and was slated to become a staging area for the construction of a new jail. But in 2019, county officials began considering the space to shelter homeless residents. And when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, they forged ahead on that project. Now it's home to the Hilda L. Solis Care First Village, a hybrid facility that offers both permanent and temporary housing to people experiencing homelessness. Built by NAC Architecture and Bernard's in 2021, the facility uses shipping containers to create private apartments for residents. The two main buildings contain 232 units of permanent housing. There is a typo in the article at that point. With trailers divided into 5 units that are utilized for interim housing. The community also hosts an administrative building that includes dining facilities, laundry, and support services available to both temporary and permanent dwellers. The goal is to house people as quickly as you can. Sarah DeSalt, a commissioner with the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority who advised on the project, told the Los Angeles Times, "Get people into housing right away, even if it's going to be operated as temporary." With a time crunch during the height of the pandemic, the 64,000 square foot facility was completed in just 6 months, encompassing a total of 232 housing units, as well as a commercial kitchen, landscaped courtyards, a dog park, and parking spots. Each building is 3 stories and formed by steel shipping crates stacked on top of one another. According to NAC Architecture, the containers are fixed in place and use an attached structure of balcony corridors and stairs to make each unit accessible and conducive to communal gathering. Windows are also cut into every unit, and the walls and ceilings of all of the shipping containers are fully insulated. Each container holds 2 living units, which come equipped with a bed, microwave, mini fridge, television, and private bathroom. LA County Supervisor Hilda Solis was the one who initiated the project, and the person it is now named after. At first, she was skeptical about using shipping containers, but was won over by the contractors. "The environment is quite impressive," she told the Los Angeles Times. "It's just like being at a Best Western, only smaller." "That's going to be the biggest eye-opener for other public officials," Solis added. "Treating homelessness can be done with dignity and respect." She was also impressed by the speed at which the project came to fruition, speed-running COVID-19 dollars from a federal government's Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, or CARES Act, as well as funding from the city budget. The NAC design team is proud of remaining committed to the individual and collective needs of the residents throughout the development process, ultimately providing an innovative, respectful housing solution, the architecture firm shared in a statement. The project provides safe, secure shelter, meals, and case management on a 24-hour basis for adults experiencing homelessness. The facility is now operated by the Weingart Foundation, a grant-making organization in Southern California, and welcomed its first residents in the spring of 2021. It reached full occupancy within 1 month. What once was supposed to be a staging area to build a new men's central jail will now serve as a safe space to address the housing, mental, and behavioral health needs of our residents experiencing homelessness, Solis said in a statement when the facility was opened. "We've been open for 3 years, and currently we have served close to 800 clients," Chris Castaneda, a program manager with the Weingart Foundation, said in a video update in 2024. This was originally supposed to be part of a jail, and Supervisor Solis took the initiative to turn it into an interim housing site, which provides safe space and resources for our clients. While the Care First Village represents a step in the right direction for LA residents facing homelessness, it also stands as a blueprint for the kind of progress that can be made when local leaders take swift action to meet immediate needs. "We're so delighted to be part of the solution for homelessness," Mark Pastrella, Director of Public Works, told the Los Angeles Times back in 2021. Public servants are also excited to be given the opportunity to make a difference. People just dig in when they need to. To everybody at the Hilda L. Solis Care First Village, everybody involved with its construction, NAC Architecture and Bernard's, and everybody involved with running it to provide a safe space for people going through homelessness in Los Angeles. And to Kendra for sending in that article. Cheers. All right, our last article, prior to that update that we're going to go over, this is a Not All Heroes Wear Capes article. It could potentially also be a I'm Not Crying, You're Crying article, and it is also potentially a Saviors of All Ages article. It really kind of covers the gamut of our special article titles, so enjoy. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. This restaurant prides itself on exclusively hiring teenagers. When their boss fell ill, those same teens stepped in to save the business. This was published to goodgoodgood.co on August 8th of 2025 by Megan Cook. When eating out at a restaurant, it's not unusual to be greeted by a teenage hostess or served by a waiter who's juggling college applications between shifts. In fact, restaurants are the largest employers of teenagers. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the restaurant industry employs 33% of working teens aged 16 to 19 years old. But in Hudson, Wisconsin, the Urban Olive and Vine doesn't just make a habit of hiring teens. They make a point of it. For years, owners Chad and Carol Trainer have exclusively hired teenagers and supported them as they transitioned on to other opportunities. It was at a time when it wasn't really easy to get a job, and Chad was the one who took me in and saw potential in me, former employee Reed Filiatro told local news station KSTP News. There's no one else in town who would hire as many high schoolers as he does, he continued. He goes out of the way to train them, to build them up. In early August, Care 11 reporter Boyd Huppert stopped by to see the teens in action. Right now, we're up to 30, Chad told Hudson Outlet. He did a quick head count to confirm. Yeah, he said proudly, 30 teenagers. Chad went on to say that hiring ages range from 14 to 18. They soak up information, they want to learn, they want to do well, Chad reasoned. But when Carol suddenly experienced a grand mal seizure in September of 2023, everything changed for the couple. She spent the next 8 months at the M Health Fairview Hospital in Minneapolis, largely in a coma, as Chad rarely left her side. Early on, Chad considered shuttering the business completely, but their young employees didn't let him consider it for long. I didn't ask one teenager to do anything extra, Chad said. They just did it. Before his days started by Carol's side, Chad continued coming to the restaurant at the crack of dawn to work out weekly schedules. But the rest, he said, he had to turn over to the teens. During those 8 months, their employees came in early for opening, stayed late to close, watered Carol's plants, and checked inboxes for monthly bills. From high school sports games to local pageants, 18-year-old Lily Benzer said that the trainers were always in the crowd to support their staff. It's a family here, Benzer said. Carol always offered help with school homework and just life in general. Her 15-year-old coworker, Joe Stevenson, chimed in. It's almost unfair for it not to be reciprocated back to them, Benzer said. Sadly, Carol never clocked back into her beloved business. We didn't know it at the time. My wife was dying, and they just thought they were helping out because she needed help. They needed things covered until she came back, Chad said, tearing up. On May 5th, Carol passed away at the age of 58. After its doors had stayed open for 8 months straight, the restaurant briefly closed so that the employees, all 30 of them, could pay their respects. She was just a really amazing person, Benzer said, her voice torn with emotion, as her co-worker Acacia Kunkel gave her a reassuring hug. Chad believes that without his staff, he wouldn't have had a business to return to. Without them, the restaurant would not exist, Chad says. These kids became adults and ran our business and took care of me. To all of the employees at Urban Olive and Vine in Hudson, Wisconsin, for stepping up to help their owners, the owners of the business, when one fell ill and sadly passed. Not all heroes wear capes. Cheers. Okay, the last thing we have for tonight is a Miss Beth update. Back in January, our January 14th broadcast, we introduced you all to Miss Beth, an elderly woman that Spencer from SB Mowing chose to help. It started with mowing her lawn and cleaning up her property. Spencer's fans asked him to set up a GoFundMe to help support Miss Beth and the much-needed repairs on her home. In April, we gave everyone an update, letting everyone know that Beth had fallen and broken her hip. Spencer had set up a post office box for her, and the awesome Nick's Newsies sent her a whole bunch of get well cards and wishes, along with thousands of other people worldwide. So that's right, when we did our get-together, when producer Donna was in town, we had some cards made, some get well soon cards made for Beth, and we sent those out to that post office box, along with probably hundreds of thousands of others. We have another update for everyone, and relax, it's good news. The meet and greet, thank you, producer Donna. The GoFundMe is currently sitting at close to $900,000, with people continuing to donate even up to today. Producer Donna's going to post for me what that number is, and yes, Becky made them, and they are awesome. So that GoFundMe for Miss Beth is $896,082. With people continuing to donate even up to today. Beth had 2 falls, and the second one was the one that broke her hip. She was in the hospital and rehab for a couple months getting back on her feet. She also recently suffered a stroke, but she is recovering nicely from all of that, and she is back at home. Her best friend Josh has been coordinating the repairs of her house. The windows have been replaced. She has a new deck and nice sturdy steps. Alamy Concrete tore out the old driveway and replaced it with a brand new one for free. Her home has been painted, the floors have been redone, and there's been a little bit of remodeling in the kitchen to help make things much easier for Miss Beth to get around. She has 24/7 care, and she wants everyone to know, I love you. I am so happy for what you did for me. Tears of joy, you put them on my face and put it in my heart too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We've included the link to Spencer's full update, the GoFundMe, and Alamy Concrete's Facebook page if you want to show them some love for being awesome. I will post something on behalf of Nick's News to Spencer and to Alamy Concrete. Honestly, just something amazing. Like, Spencer from SB Mowing does some amazing work just going around and cleaning up property for people. But this really just shows how when you cultivated a community of just good-natured people, like, it shows what the power of goodness can be. And I'm just so happy that they've been able to do so much for Miss Beth after, she was really in a bad way when Spencer rolled up just to clean up her lawn. So it's really cool. Becky says, thanks a lot, good job. Producer Donna, her new deck has a wheelchair ramp. I forgot. Yeah, the new deck has a nice wheelchair ramp. Charlie, that is absolutely outstanding. I'm so happy she's doing better. She's such a sweet woman. The power of friendship. Yeah, SB Mowing and his followers helped save a cat shelter too, so they're just on a roll. So it's really cool. To Spencer at SB Mowing, Miss Beth, to Josh, Miss Beth's best friend and caretaker, and everybody involved. Cheers. Well, that's about it for tonight. 6 amazing articles and 1 incredible update regarding Miss Beth and Spencer from SB Mowing's community and everything they've done to help her and everything he's done to help her. Thank you all again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Knicks News YouTube page. Again, we're live every Sunday, and our next episode will be on August 17th of 2025. Right? Yeah, it should be the 17th. Yeah, it's the 17th. I wrote the 3rd. I meant to say the 17th. I'm going to pop that in there so I remember to change it next time. I encourage participation. We all encourage participation. So if you feel inclined, by all means, send us ideas for news brews, shout-outs, news quotes, and especially good news articles that we can present on future episodes of our show. If you send a bunch of articles, please try to spread them out across our 4 major categories, which again were science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice stuff that we like to end on. You can message us on Facebook or Instagram, or email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are in the descriptions for all of our media content. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment on our Facebook and YouTube videos, on our Instagram posts, on our TikToks, so we can get good news and joy out into all of the algorithms. Please, no SEO improvement advertisements. We're not looking for any of that, but I can't thank you all enough for everything that you do. We are continuing to see steady growth. It is amazing to see Knicks News continue to spread good news and joy. We're at 98 subscribers on YouTube. We're almost to the first 100, which would be like unbelievable if we can cross that threshold. I've always wanted this to take off, but I've never expected it to, and it really is just good to see that folks want to see good content to battle all this bad news we're bombarded with. So I can't thank you all enough again. Oh, Ethan, thank you very much. Good stuff, Nick. Thank you. So yeah, as always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I will play us out.